I'm Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive. Today I'm going to show you how to make these super cute note cards, and I'm going to share with you one of my favorite stamping stories, Goldilocks and the Three Ink Pads. So once upon a time there was a stamper named Goldilocks, and she wanted to stamp a baby carriage. And the first time she stamped, she took out her Marina Mist ink pad and she opened it up. And the first time she stamped, she got a really light image with, if you look up really closely, a bunch of white spots, way, way too light. Then she re-inked her ink pad, and then she got a really nice dark image, but she lost a lot of detail in the stamp. And if you look really closely, the little stitching or the little lines on the baby carriage have almost disappeared. So she wasn't happy with that either. And finally, she blotted her ink pad with a paper towel, and she came up with this perfect image. So I'm going to show you how to get a better image when you're stamping with your ink pads. I love the Stampin' Up! Ink pads. The Firm Foam ink pads just work really well with bold images. But sometimes, like this Marina Mist ink pad, when I pulled it out, I hadn't used Marina Mist in a long time. So it was my neglected ink pad. So when you go to stamp with it, first of all, it's hard to get ink coverage because you can tell already it's a little on the dry side. So finally you get it, and it's you've got good coverage, but when you go to stamp it, you can see that there's light spots. You know, it's not as true Marina Mist as you can get. So, you know, you have your re-inker, so you go ahead and you the way you re-ink is you just kind of squeeze the re-inker onto your ink pad, and you can see it's very thirsty right now. And what I like to do, I kind of get pretty good coverage, and then I stop squeezing after I do the first round, and then I use my little the tip of my re-inker without squeezing, and I just use it to kind of move the ink around a little bit, just massage it into the ink pad. Okay, so I've got this re-inked, and so I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up again. Okay, so now you'll notice that on this time stamping or inking, it's almost like you can see the ink beading up on the stamp. And you want your ink pad inky, but what I think is going to happen, let's just go ahead and stamp it and see what I think is going to happen. So yeah, exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. I lost some of the detail of the baby carriage. Now, one thing you can do, if you have a little time right after re-inking, close up your ink pad and let it sit for a little bit, and that will help distribute the ink a little better. But more normally when I open up my ink pad again, I will find that it is it's still too inky. So I'm going to clean off the stamp and get the ink out of the crevices real quick. Okay, so I've got my stamp clean again, and now what I'm going to do is I just take a paper towel, and I'm just going to rub my paper towel over the surface and take off some of that ink. Okay, and I think that should be enough. Let's test it out. Ink this up again. Still beading a little bit. Let's see if I've taken enough ink. Let's test it out. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. See, I've got my detail back here on the top of the baby carriage, and the lines have come here. See, before you can see the lines, the little dots were obliterated. So we've got a really pretty good stamped image right here. So the moral of the story is when you buy your ink pad, always buy a matching re-inker so that when you're stamping a bold stamp and your ink pad's not right, you can fix it right away and you don't have to wait and you don't have to deal with these light too light images, or once you re-inked it, just make sure you blot it a little bit to get the excess ink off, and then you'll have a really good image. So let me show you how I made my little card. It's not a hard card, but I use my Whisper White note cards because it makes it really easy and fast. If you don't have a note card, you can cut a piece of cardstock to 7 inches by 5 inches and then score in half at the 3.5 inch mark. And so I'm not going to fold this quite yet. I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to take a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to make a mark about 1.5 inches up. Just a little tiny little, nope. Need lead for my pencil to actually make a little mark. So I'm just going to make a little mark so I can see that's about as far up as I want my baby carriage. I'm going to bring my Marina Mist ink pad back into the picture. By the way, I haven't shown you yet, but I am using the Something for Baby stamp set, and this stamp set has all these nice bold images. So this is a really good thing when you test out your ink pad. Just make sure it's just got the right amount of ink on it, because you'll be much happier stamping all of these images if you have the right amount of ink on your ink pad. So let me just finish inking this up, and I want to center it on the card front and just use my little pencil mark as a guide so I don't go too far up. Perfect. And then I've got a little piece of Marina Mist cardstock, and I have cut this piece to 3.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And then I've taken, this is a word set. It's called And Many More. And in this set, there's lots of different greetings. It's a really versatile greeting set. And one of them is Welcome Baby right here. And I have already mounted that on a block. And I'm just going to tap this lightly. When you have a small stamp like this, you don't want to smush it into your ink pad. You're just going to kind of tap it lightly on these firm foam ink pads because they are squishy if you squish down, and it's better not to have ink all over the place. And then I'm just going to go ahead and center this right on this piece of cardstock like that, and that's going to go down there like that. Let me grab an eraser real quick. Okay, and let me just erase that little pencil mark. Okay. So then we're just going to take some Tombow multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to put some glue on here and adhere that right underneath my baby carriage. And remember, if you don't know what the baby is going to be, you can choose a neutral color, or you can choose pink. Blushing Bride is a nice kind of medium to light pink that you could use if you wanted a traditional color. And then just to add just a little tiny bit of embellishment, these are our pearl basic jewels, and I'm using the medium size here. I'm using my piercer. Oh. Okay, and that just allows me to lift it off and to place it on the wheel right there. I thought that would just add just a little bit of something onto the card, make it look a little cuter. And then, let me move this out of the way. All you need to do is fold your note card. And where did my bone folder go? Oh, I don't have my bone folder here. Just hold on one second. Here's my bone folder. So I'm just going to use that to smooth down the edge of my card. And there you go. You have a really simple note card, but it's really cute. And just remember the Goldilocks story. You don't want your ink pad too dry, too juicy. You want it just right in between. So all the supplies you'll need to make this note card are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now.